running a 1 minute to 130-minute advanced R5 team. So this is for people who have really strong runes and can run a team similar to mine. So I'll explain the concept of my team, but also showcase the runes here. So this is my first team. This is my standard team that I put in the middle because in case the left side, the right side, if they collapse and they feed, this team can carry. I run one healer because I concentrate on doing maximum of damage, but also running a really fast set on Colleen. So let me just go through the runes. Our Darien, this is an R5 Darien. I couldn't get 3 fight sets on it while maintaining that 70 resistance. So the runes aren't that great here. They're pretty blue. You don't need good fight runes to run on your Darien. They just need to be tanky. Doesn't really need to be revenge because it just needs to do the first skill and then you nuke it down. And also the Kung Fu girls also do first skill defense break. So that's why I only run one defense breaker with skill 1. And generally when I run this team with my standard middle team with my twins team, it's a solid 1 minute to 1 minute 30 depending on who I run it with. So let me just go back to the runes again. We run the light Kung Fu girl because it has a lot of control, and I rune all my DPS as close to 81 crit rate as possible for consistency. So these are the stats that I found that have the most success in surviving frontline with running one healer. And I put it on revenge. It doesn't need to be revenge. It just needs to be a good. It needs to be like an offset, like maybe like energy blade to help you achieve these sets if you don't have good enough runes, or maybe just broken runes because they're just that efficient for you. And then my Lisa is not on the greatest runes, but it is on a fight set. The fight set isn't required, but I just happen to have something that makes it work. And I found that this speed, the cleansing, works for me. So if you want to opt for maybe tankier and more speed without the fight set, I'm all for it. But I like having these strong fight sets to do as much damage as possible. And then my Colleen, it's on Enhanced Double Revenge. The goal of this Colleen is to do as many heals as possible since it's my only single healer. And that's why it's so fast at plus 144. So it's on speed, defense, HP, I believe, or speed, defense, defense. Let me find out after this run. The Violent runes on my Lisa aren't that great. And this run was 112. So let me just go back in to show you. So like my Lisa isn't on amazing runes. Like this is a purple rune that just rolled resistance. Blue rune right here. This is a 5-star rune. This is basically a 16 speed rune that I grinded. This is what's good, and this is also good because it's legend. But I believe this is purple. So these are only 2 really good runes on my Lisa. And then my Colleen, on the other hand, it's running a lot of legend runes. So if you're not able to reach these stats, I think 120 also works. And then we have my 2 DPS units. These are my units that I believe carry the damage here. You don't need 3 damage dealers. You need 2 damage dealers that do a lot of damage. My light Kung Fu girl doesn't do that much damage. It's for the control and some damage here and to frontline. So this Hua is tanky enough to survive backline with just 2 units, even when I miss attack break or glancing. So these are the stats that I have, and I don't run that much speed because you don't need that many turns to control the boss with reducing attack bar reduction because you're destroying the boss so fast you don't even need that many turns. And look at that, 117 run using double twin R5 and a standard middle team. And generally, if my third person isn't a twin user, it's generally 130 if I carry like any random person, like a Conqueror player, a Fighter player, whatever. And then lastly, in this team, it's my Shaolin. I am missing 1 crit rate, which makes me a little bit sad, but I went for the survivability here. That's 600 defense and 10k HP. You don't really need accuracy. I recommend Rage, not Vampire, because you want your Kung Fu Girl to hit like a truck. You don't want to do some weak damage with that Vampire set. No, you want to run a Rage set that does a lot of damage. So that's the idea behind my first team here, using these fight runes to do more damage and running very, very strong DPS units. And you can see that the units are roughly around the same speed, so they go together instead of getting cut by the jumps. And then my third team. So this is the team that does the most damage here, or it should if RNG shows well. So the build here, oh, everything's dying. That's not good. So the build here on my Delphoi, ideally, if you don't have good enough runes, you just run violent whatever to get that semi resistance. But if you have good enough runes, try running triple fight. That is the ideal build because you want to maximize damage. Speed tuning from R5. To be honest, it just kind of worked out that way. I didn't mean for it to work that way, but it works. I wiped, but I still get 118. This is the power of twins. Yeah, it's like the caster curse. When you say something, it does the exact opposite. So, like I said, if you don't have good runes to run non-violent, then just put on violent whatever. You don't want to take that many turns. So it's tolerance, fight, broken. This is like literally a blue rune. My fight runes aren't that greatest. You don't need it to be. And then we have an R5 Pastet. I ran out of fight runes, but it needs to be on will in case you get debuffed, slowed, whatever, so that you can actually attack bar buff. And then we have this unit. This unit acts like a Diaz Darien, but it has brand. And the reason why this monster works is because you're running Pastet and Delphoi. Delphoi's heal isn't even that much even after the buff. So this skill right here, Deadly Seduction, doesn't affect it that much because you're really relying on Oasis Blessing for that survivability. So the purpose here is this unit goes first, cleanses any debuffs. This unit does branding ideally, or first skill defense break. So this is built on double fight enhance, just for enhance for survivability. And then everyone asks me, why do you use the Wind Chakram over Shayna? Because Melissa is straight out better. You can put this frontline with Vampire, and it acts like a water Kung Fu Girl on Vampire and frontline. Mine's not even max skilled, but it does a lot of damage. And when it attacks along with your Sabrina, it heals up as well. So it requires less tanky stats, but I do recommend even my Melissa, like this stat right here, it still wipes frontline just because of the sheer speed we clear it at. And the chances that you miss attack break, glancing, whatever. And onto our backline. Please note, this is not even skilled up. If this was skilled up, I would be doing so much more damage. And then we have this unit. I'm missing 2 crit rate, which is really sad, but I built it on Rage Blade. You can build it on Fight Blade, Swift Blade. You don't need that much speed on your backline units. Plus 60 speed is perfectly fine because, like I said, you're not taking multiple turns to do small damage. You're taking small turns to do big damage. And I gemmed in accuracy here instead of crit rate because I value the accuracy to land that defense break for consistency. Because you don't need that much accuracy for R5. So I valued the extra crit accuracy over that small crit rate chance. But I do want that 2% more. So this is not even max skilled. And this is my last unit here. This is better than Shayna because at the end of the boss, when most of your units have wiped because of how fast you do it, this unit's third skill can nuke it down really hard. And this is how I built my Talia on Fight Fatal. Has a lot of legend runes here. But once again, I do not recommend this for beginner players. And this is my last run with you, and then we'll be moving on and inviting someone else to showcase another version of this team to get solid 1 minutes. So this is 120. So like I said, it ranges anywhere from 1 minute to 130, depending on who you raid with. And in my next example, I'll be showing that you don't need someone with a twins team. As long as the third person does enough damage. That's what matters here, because your first team is going to soak up the wipes on the left and the right, and your twins team will output as much damage as the Katarina team here, right? So I'll let you guys see it. So you see the Delphoid cleansed everything, and then all my twins do the damage, right? So you will see that the boss will jump or skip some jumps just because of how fast it clears. Right. So you see that? We just jumped, but we jumped again just because of the speed. And that's why you need your backline units to be tanky, because if it does a double jump, you won't have enough survivability to live without attack break and glancing. Do I feel that twins and necro all need violent? For consistency, I think that your twins should be on violent for necro, but for this content, for R5, none of your twins should be on violent. I don't think any of them should be, because I value the 4-set extra instead of the additional turn. See, this is a solid 1 minute with a middle team, a standard middle team, and a twins Bastet team. The twins team does as much damage as the Katarina team from Bloody Claw. It depends, because Katarina team's derp, right? If Chloe misses the invincibility, then essentially it does no damage, right? Whereas it's very consistent to run a twins team like this, right here. And if my twins were maxed, I would think that I can even break like 1 minute more consistently. Sometimes running this team can wipe depending on RNG of the Katarina user and just like RNG of the jumps and if you land debuffs. So after this one, I will showcase you another version of my R5 team by using Katarina. So if you have twins and Katarina Jameer, you can do that team as well if you don't have like a standard team like this built. This standard team, the purpose of it is just safety. Sometimes I reach 2 minutes because both sides wipe, but this team is able to carry it. So if you don't have like a Light Kung Fu girl, you can use like a Miang for more heals and rely on double damage dealers to carry you. So that's what I would change here. And Bastet on this team is a must because you need an attack buffer and a shield. And if you don't have the rune quality like to like live, just change out the red Stella and put in your Diaz or your Darien or something like that. So the alternative here is to run the team in the middle and then run your Katarina team on the side. So because Bloody Claw has an attack percent lead, what we can do is we want to run crit rate lead because we want to be consistent here. Because my Katarina is only 49 crit rate. And I'll explain the horse here. So Math gave that horse idea, right? And I really like it because for consistency purposes, for this double team, I want the Katarina to do as much, be as consistent as possible, right? So we have 49 plus 30 plus the 19. So the rune requirements for the Katarina team isn't that high, but I will explain the team as well. And I would not use Annabelle over Delphoid because you see Delphoid gives that immunity, gives a heal, and it doesn't get debuffed because you have immunity debuff, right? So just showcasing the runes on my team. It has to be double fight will. I put it on will just because I want consistency. I don't want it getting like debuffed or something like that from the boss. If you want, you can put on triple fight, up to you. I made a Chloe specifically for R5. It's just on double fight will. Chloe has to be on will because you do not want to get stunned. You don't want to get slowed by the boss. Hey, what's wrong with my internet? Press 1 if I'm live. Of course this happens. Yes, send battle. Of course this happened. I was on a roll and then this happened. Alright. 55 seconds with double Katarina and the twins in the middle. Hey, we got matching drops. I'll post the infographic on Reddit as well later. So going back to my team. So the turn order I have is this goes first. This has to be on will because this is your cleanser. If anything gets debuffed, this cleanses it. This can also go first. So how it works is your Chloe goes first, and then this unit goes for attack buff. And then if your Chloe derps, this resurges it. So this uses third skill. And then Katarina goes in, and then this resets and repeats. And you don't need any skill ups on any of these units. This would be nice if you max the third skill for additional damage. Otherwise, you don't need any skill ups for this team. So that is all for my R5 team. Looks like I cannot do another run because my internet is terrible. But thanks for watching, and if you have any other guides or just content that I have on my account that you want to showcase, leave a comment below and we'll go from there.